Book of Heaven, Volume 20, October 22nd, 1926. The great good which the kingdom of the Divine Fiat will bring, how it will be the preserver from all evils. Just as the Virgin, while she made no miracle, made the great miracle of giving a God to creatures, so it will be for the one who must make the kingdom known. She will make the great miracle of giving a divine will. I was thinking to myself about the holy divine volition, and I said to myself, but what will be the great good of this kingdom of the supreme fiat? And Jesus, interrupting my thought, moved in my interior as though hurriedly telling me,
My daughter, what will be the great good? What will be the great good? The kingdom of my fiat will enclose all goods, all miracles, the most sensational prodigies. Even more, it will surpass them all together. And if miracle means to give sight to a blind one, to straighten up a cripple, to heal one who is sick, to raise a dead man, etc., the kingdom of my will have the preserving nourishment, and for whomever enters into it, there will be no danger that he might become blind, crippled, or sick. Death will no longer have power in the soul, and if it will have it over the body, it will not be death, but transit. Without the nourishment of sin and a degraded human will which produced corruption in the bodies, and with the preserving nourishment of my will, the bodies also will not be subject to decomposing and becoming so horribly corrupted as to strike fear even into the strongest ones, as it happens now, but they will remain composed in their sepulchres, waiting for the day of the resurrection of all. Do you think it is a greater miracle to give sight of a poor blind one, to straighten up a cripple, to heal one who is sick, or to have a preserving means so that the eye may never lose its sight, so that one may always walk straight, so that one may always be healthy? I believe that the preserving miracle is greater than the miracle after a misfortune has occurred. This is the great difference between the kingdom of redemption and the kingdom of the supreme fiat. In the first, the miracle was for the poor unfortunate, as it is today, who lie, some in one misfortune, some in another. And this is why I gave the example, also externally, of giving many different healings, which were the symbol of the healings which I gave to the souls, and which easily returned to their infirmity. The second will be a preserving miracle, because my will possesses the miraculous power that whoever lets himself be dominated by it will be subject to no evil. Therefore, it will have no need to make miracles, because it will preserve them always healthy, holy, and beautiful, worthy of that beauty which came out of our creative hands in creating the creature. The kingdom of the divine fiat will make the great miracle of banishing all evils, all miseries, all fears, because it will not perform a miracle at time and circumstance, but will keep the children of its kingdom with itself, with an act of continued miracle, to preserve them from any evil, and let them be distinguished as the children of its kingdom. This in the souls, but also in the body there will be many modifications, because it is always sin that is the nourishment of all evils. Once sin is removed, there will be no nourishment for evil. More so, since my will and sin cannot exist together, therefore the human nature also will have its beneficial effects. Now, my daughter, having to prepare the great miracle of the kingdom of the supreme fiat, I am doing with you, firstborn daughter of my will, just as I did with the sovereign queen, my mamma, when I had to prepare the kingdom of redemption. I drew her so close to myself, I kept her so occupied in her interior, as to be able to form together with her the miracle of redemption, for which there was such great need. There were so many things which, together, we were to do, to redo, to complete, that I had to hide from her outward appearance anything which might be called miracle, except for her perfect virtue. By this, I rendered her more free, so as to let her cross the endless sea of the eternal fiat, that she might have access to the divine majesty in order to obtain the kingdom of redemption. What would be greater, that the celestial queen had given sight to the blind and speech to the mute, and so forth, or the miracle of making the eternal word descend upon earth. The first would have been accidental, passing and individual miracles. The second, instead, is a permanent miracle, and it is for everyone, as long as they want it. Therefore, the first would have been as though nothing compared to the second. She was the true Son, who, eclipsing everything, eclipsed the very word of the Father within herself, letting all the goods, all the effects and miracles which redemption produced, germinate from her light. But as Son, she produced goods and miracles without letting herself be seen or pointed at as the primary cause of everything. In fact, all the good I did upon earth, I did because the Empress of Heaven reached the point of holding her empire in the divinity, and by her empire she drew me from heaven to give me to creatures. Now I am doing the same with you in order to prepare the kingdom of the supreme fiat. I keep you with me. I make you cross its endless sea to give you access to the celestial Father, that you may pray him, conquer him, have empire over him, to obtain the fiat of my kingdom. And in order to fulfill and consummate in you all the miraculous power which is needed to form a kingdom so holy, I keep you continuously occupied in your interior with the work of my kingdom. I make you go around continuously in order to complete everything that is needed, and that all should do, in order to form the great miracle of my kingdom. Externally, I let nothing miraculous appear in you, except for the light of my will. Some might say, how can this be? Blessed Jesus manifests so many portents to this creature about this kingdom of the divine fiat, and the goods it will bring will surpass creation and redemption. Even more, it will be the crown of both one and the other. But in spite of so much good, nothing miraculous can be seen in her, externally, as confirmation of the great good of this kingdom of the eternal fiat, while the other saints, without the portent of this great good, have made miracles at each step. But if they turn back to consider my dear Mama, the holiest of all creatures, and the great good which she enclosed within herself, and which she brought to creatures, there is no one who can compare to her, as she made the great miracle of conceiving the divine word within herself, and the portent of giving a God to each creature. And in the face of this great prodigy, never before seen or heard, of being able to give the eternal word to creatures, all other miracles together are like tiny little flames before the sun. Now one who must do the greatest has no need to do the lesser. In the same way, in the face of the miracle of the kingdom of my will, restored in the midst of creatures, all other miracles will be tiny little flames before the great sun of my will. Each saying, truth, and manifestation about it is a miracle which has come out of my will as preserver from all evils. It is like binding the creatures to an infinite good, to a greater glory, and to a new beauty, fully divine. Each truth about my eternal fiat contains more power and prodigious virtue than if a dead man were resurrected, a leper were healed, a blind one could see, or a mute could speak. In fact, my words on the sanctity and power of my fiat will resurrect the souls to their origin. They will heal them from the leprosy produced by the human will. They will give them the sight to be able to see the goods of the kingdom of my will, because until now they have been like blind. They will give speech to many mute, who, while they were able to say many other things, only for my will were like many mute without speech. And then the great miracle of being able to give to each creature a divine will which contains all goods. What will it not give them when it will be in possession of the children of its kingdom? This is why I keep you all occupied with the work of this kingdom of mine, and there is much to do in order to prepare the great miracle that the kingdom of the fiat be known and possessed. Therefore, be attentive in crossing the endless sea of my will, so that the order between creator and creature may be established. In this way, through you, I will be able to make the great miracle that man returned to me into the origin from which he came.
Then I was thinking of what is written above, especially that each word and manifestation on the supreme will is a miracle come out of it. And Jesus, to confirm in me what he had told me, added,
My daughter, what do you think a greater miracle was when I came upon earth? My word, the gospel I announced, or the fact that I gave life to the dead, sight to the blind, hearing to the deaf, etc.? Ah, my daughter, my word, my gospel was a greater miracle, more so since the very miracles came out of my word. The foundation, the substance of all miracles came out of my creative word. The sacraments, creation itself, a permanent miracle, had life from my word. And my very church has my word, my gospel, as regime and foundation. So my word, my gospel, was a miracle greater than the miracles themselves, which, if they had life, it was because of my miraculous word. Therefore, be sure that the word of your Jesus is the greatest miracle. My word is like mighty wind that runs, pounds on the hearing, enters into the hearts, warms, purifies, illuminates, goes round and round from nation to nation. It covers the whole world. It wanders throughout all centuries. Who could ever give death and bury one word of mine? No one. And if sometimes it seems that my word is silent and is as though hidden, it never loses its life. When least expected, it comes out and goes around everywhere. Centuries will pass in which everything, men and things, will be overwhelmed and disappear, but my word will never pass away, because it contains life, the miraculous power of the one who issued it. Therefore, I confirm that each word and manifestation I make to you about my eternal fiat is the greatest miracle, which will serve the kingdom of my will. And this is why I push you so much, and I care so much that not a word of mine be not manifested and written by you, because I see a miracle of mine coming back to me, which will bring so much good to the children of the kingdom of the supreme fiat.
Thank you for being a part of our community here at Divine Will app. If you enjoy listening to Jesus' lessons on how to live in the divine will, please give this video a thumbs up. Your likes help us reach more souls yearning to live in the kingdom of the divine will. We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections, so drop a comment below. Your insights not only enrich our community, but also inspire others on their spiritual journey. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By joining us, you're helping to spread the news of the kingdom of the divine will, so that together we can bring His kingdom to reign on earth as it is in heaven. In the divine will, always.